Hey everybody, it's Judy Walgren, the editorial director for ViewFind. Welcome to our ongoing series of webinars, free webinars, with this one being Best Business Practices for Photographers with Mackenzie Meany from 17 Hats. This is going to be the first in an ongoing series of webinars that we're going to present on business practices for photographers, and I know I just did my taxes and it was more than slightly nightmarish, so hoping that we all glean a lot from what Mackenzie has to say today. The next in the series will be on June 15th with Back to the Basics of Bookkeeping. And now I'm going to pass the mic or the phone, however this is going, off to the organizer, Andrea Wise, and let her take it from here. Thanks a lot, everybody, and thanks, Andrea and Mackenzie.
Thanks, Judy. Hello, everyone. Here, I'm Andrea Wise. I'm the lead photo editor at ViewFind. I want everyone here to know that we do record these webinars and we post them on our blog on Medium. So check us out there. It's at ViewFind on Medium. If you've missed our previous webinars, last month was on pricing your work in today's market with Judy Herman. It was really, really awesome. The one before that, we heard from the judges of our recent photography grants as well as the recipients of our grants, and they offered a lot of valuable insight on how to win a photography grant, and the one before that was on digital archiving and workflow with Photo Mechanic. So again, the next in our series with 17 Hats will be on June 15th. We'll post it on Facebook and everything, and that will be getting back to basics with bookkeeping. So now, Mackenzie, if you want to take it from here, let's get this party started.
Perfect. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for everyone that's in attendance. Again, this is Mackenzie from 17 Hats. We also have Jessica Blotter, who will be helping us show you guys a demonstration of how 17 Hats works and why it would be a great idea for you to utilize it if you're already a member, or to sign up for a free trial if you're not. And thanks to ViewFind, we're actually offering you guys a 15% discount today for anyone that signs up, and that is ViewFind, all in capitals. They will type that in the chat as well. So basically, we wanted to introduce ourselves and let you know why 17 Hats came to be. So we're a platform for small businesses, engineers, photographers, creative professionals, and basically our CEO, his wife, she was a teacher for a long time, and she decided that her passion was photography. So she started her own business and loved it. But then, she started getting some leadway and traction and didn't realize how difficult it actually is to be a photographer. So as you all know, there's a lot more to it than just doing the portion that you love. There's a lot of, templates and as far as emails and invoicing and contracts and follow through. It gets to be very tedious, as you know, and that's not the part that you particularly love doing. So our CEO, again, he created this platform to help automate those processes so that you can spend more time doing what you love opposed to the logistics part. So I know that we've talked to a lot of people and creative professionals alike that have pain points when starting a business. A lot of it's time management, just trying to figure out your priorities. Also dealing with customers, trying to really figure out if they're a right fit ahead of time, making sure invoices are paid. And then, again, just doing it all and trying to do it well. Everything from, branding to your websites, to your social media. And then, again, the bookkeeping and accounting portion, that's not something that everyone is well-versed in, so trying to make that a little bit easier for everyone. And then finally, another pain point is just feeling overwhelmed. And so 17 Hats is going to try to help fix that process for you, automating a lot of things that you're typically doing manually and over again. We have a lot of templates that you can create in advance that really help you to automate the process, and then you don't have to repeat things and waste time doing the things that you don't particularly like. So we're going to now share our screen and do a walkthrough. This is going to be a walkthrough of all the features that 17 Hats offers. And then afterwards, Andrea is going to send out some information if you need more in-depth as far as a training. We have 1-on-5 trainings that you can have a personal trainer and really ask those in-depth questions. And then there's also the chat box, so feel free if you get confused on anything along the way, type in your questions, and then after the demonstration, we can go through and go back to those portions.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Jessica. So today, you should be able to see the 17 Hats homepage. Just in case you haven't signed up with us yet, this is where you can go to sign up for your free trial. We don't take your credit card when you sign up. It's just 2 weeks completely free, let you play around with the system, see if you like it. And Mackenzie did mention that we have a training program. It is currently free. So if this is something that you like our demo, you're interested in using the software, definitely sign up for that and learn how to set up your account to the best possible, to its fullest extent. Now, I'm going to sign in to my account. Oops. Let me move this out of the way. Hold on. All right. So now I'm going to sign into my account. All right. And, okay, great. So today I'm going to take you through kind of a general overview just about how, how 17 Hats can work for you. There's a lot of customization and there's a lot of features. So we won't really get to every minute detail today, but I'm going to do my best to kind of take you through all the important stuff. So the first thing is this is our dashboard. And we can see I've got a crazy schedule coming up, but this is your next 3 days. You can see your weather report right over here in your zip code, which is really helpful if you're doing any kind of outdoor shooting. And then down here is our Let's Take Care of Business. So these are all of the notifications, reminders, leads, emails, all of the things that are going on in my business are right here in one place. And the first thing I want to talk about are the building blocks of using your 17 Hats account. So we're going to go into my account settings. And this is where your home base is. This is where you enter in your basic information, upload your logo, add a referral code so that you can get discounts. There's lots of those, including one from ViewFind. Hope you use it. And right over here, I want to show you our email settings. So you can sync as many email accounts as you'd like. Right now, I just have my main account synced as well. So this way, as I'm emailing with clients, all of those emails are actually going through my email server. And so they're going straight to your client. It's a very direct communication, but it's also being brought into your 17 Hats account. The other thing I want to show you are templates. The templates are really the building blocks for using the software. 17 Hats is all about having everything you need to run your business effectively in one place. And we work a lot with templates, and that's kind of how, that's what enables us to do that. The first thing I want to show you is an email template. So this is what this looks like. And you can see right over here, we've got the same kind of formatting that you'd see in a typical email. And I'm just going to call this ViewFind Welcome. And I'm going to say thank you for your inquiry. And what's really cool about the templates is I'm going to say something like, hi, and I'm going to insert what's called a token. Now, tokens are static information that's already associated with a contact. So if you're sending them, any kind of email or contract, you can use these tokens so that you never have to type out that information. You don't have to edit the templates before you send them out. It's going to automatically pull the information from that client so you don't have to. So I'm going to say, hi, first name, and I'm going to say thank you for your inquiry. We'll get back to you shortly. For me? Okay, great. Down here you can see that we can attach files. So if you have price sheets or if you have like an info sheet or anything else that you want prospective clients to know right up front, you could always have that there attached in a template. You never have to remember to attach it, which I know I forget all the time. And I'm going to click save there. So the next thing I want to show you, so you can actually see in the templates we've got quote, invoice, contract, and questionnaire. So these are all different templates that you can create. You can create as many as you'd like, and you can really just use the ones that are useful to you. The first one I want to show you is quote. And I like starting with the quote because the quote template can actually automatically generate an invoice and a contract if that's something that you want to do. The other thing that quote templates can do is offer your clients or your prospective clients a few options for them to choose from, or maybe you want to give them some of the things you discussed on your call and have them narrow it down. Quotes allow you to have allow your clients to have a lot of choice and to actively tell you, yeah, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. So I'm just going to call this ViewFind quote. And we'll keep it kind of basic today, but you can really customize this to your business to make it useful for you. We have a tax rate right here. I'm just going to add the I'm just going to check that and say it's taxable. And can also always have a discount. So if you have repeat clients, maybe you have people you just love and you want to give them a special discount, you can create a discount friends template or something like that. The more templates you create, and really you can always just create them as you go, but the more templates that you create, the easier it's going to be for you to automate a lot of your work, and then you also don't have to do that work again. So I'm going to automatically generate an invoice. If I don't have a PayPal account, but if I did, I could set up an online payment. We also accept Stripe and Authorize.net. We're also currently building in the ability to accept ACH payments, which are much lower fee. The 17F does not touch your money or your client's money. We really just support the payment providers. So you can accept online payments, or you can always just, continue to work with checks or whatever makes the most sense for you. So the next thing I want to do is create a contract that will automatically get attached to this invoice and quote. Now, you do not have to do all of these three things at the same time. You can do all of them separately, and you can still automate that. The quote is kind of cool because the quote makes all three of those things connected, and it's just kind of easy for your clients and you as well. So I'm going to call this the ViewFind contract. And you'll notice that this template looks a lot like the email template, but you might notice a couple different things. The first is my signature, and the second is insert form. So my signature is exactly what it sounds like. This is your signature in your contract, so maybe you don't require yourself to sign it, or maybe you sign it automatically. I like to do countersign after clients so that you can see what the notification looks like, and you'll get prompted as soon as that client has signed the contract. The other thing, so we'll see these tokens. There's actually a few extra tokens in the contract. But the next thing are insert forms. So forms are really just the interactive part of any contract that you send out. So, for example, maybe you want them to check a box that they've read your terms. Maybe you want them to initial wherever, that people tend to breeze over in your contract. This is really, really customizable, and whatever your client enters into the template will get saved with their project. So I'm going to say something like, this contract is for, and I'm going to give them the token of the full name. And I'm just going to say, a company name. And I'm going to say, please give me all your money. And I'm going to initial there. See if that works on your clients. I hope it doesn't, but it might. So now we're going to go down here, and there's these three items right here. So you see standard quote item, choose one option, choose any. Standard quote is something where, if you maybe have customized pricing every single time you work with someone, maybe it's all based on a conversation you guys have. Standard quote item is just anything that the client can't change. So you can still send them a quote even if you don't want to give them options to choose from. You can kind of say something like, or maybe this is really just your, your travel fee. Let's say that. And we're going to say this is, $200 to get me out of the door. And very, very fancy. We're in California, so it's actually service income. It's not taxable. So I'm going to categorize it as service income. And I'm going to say this for later. The next two things that we see are choose one and choose any. Now, choose one is package pricing. So if you work with a wide range of clients and you just kind of have different tiers for them to choose from, maybe that makes your life easy. It probably does. That's what choose one options are for. So I'm just going to say package, and here's all the packages that I've saved within all of my templates. So again, you don't have to do that work 2 times. So I'm just going to say, my full planning package. And up comes all of the descriptions, the price. It remembers what kind of income it is. So I'm going to click Save. And then maybe I want to give them one other option. So I'm going to say, try another one. We'll do the, small package. And here's all of our items. It is taxable because we're selling something. We're going to give it the California sales tax, save it for later. And now the last thing you'll see are choose any options. Choose any options are a la carte. So maybe you charge by the hour if your shoot runs long for overtime. Maybe you charge for extra prints or putting prints into a book, whatever it is that makes the most sense for you. It's going to be an a la carte item. Now I'm going to say maybe we could do additional hour service. That already pops up. So I'm going to say that. And up comes the price, sales, and you'll notice these 3 options down here. So this is make this item selected by default. And what that does is your client can still deselect that when they see the quote if they don't want that option. But it's a nice way of upselling. So maybe you like to have an additional hour service. You think it helps. It's a good way of doing it. The next thing you'll see is allow clients to choose a quantity. Now, if this is an additional hour of service, you're not going to let me choose 100 hours. But you might want to let me choose up to 4. So you can set these limits. You can create them to whatever makes the most sense for you. And then I've already saved this item for use later, but that's the same button there. So now we've got this complete quote template. And I'm going to save that there. And within that quote template, we did a contract and we did an invoice. So I want to show you questionnaires. Questionnaires are really great for communication, direct communication between you and maybe even just prospective clients, maybe booked clients. Questionnaires are just exactly what they sound like. I'm going to call this a ViewFind questionnaire. We're going to do a couple questions. And we can give it a due date. We don't have to. I'm going to say it's due this Saturday. And the first thing I want to know is, what is your shoot date? Make that required. Click OK. Next thing I want to know is, choose from a list. Let's say, what kind of, court session are you interested in? I'm going to make that required, and we'll say, landscape, or portrait, or travel, and give it another, so your client has some options. And we'll do one more. Let's say I want to know where I'm going. What is the location of the shoot? Save. So now I've got these 3 questions, and at any time in working with your client, you can send this out. So maybe once you've booked, you want to get more information, or maybe before they book, you want to get more information. Maybe several times throughout the process, you want to get more information. You can make as many of these as you want and use them on as many clients as you want. Now we've done most of the templates. The next thing I want to take you to is I'm going to show you what's called lead capture form. Now, you might get your leads from word of mouth. You might get them from all personal referrals. But a lot of the time, people find you online. They find you on your website, on your Facebook page. And this is probably, I think this is our secret weapon. This is called lead capture. And lead capture is really just a contact form. It's a contact form that you can install on your Facebook page, on your website, as a pop-up, anywhere you have access to the source code, or you can just have a permanent link. So say maybe you want to just send out a mass email and get more people to sign up for or interested in your services. Sending out a permanent link will work just as well. Now, what's interesting about lead capture forms, I'm going to edit this, are all of these wonderful little settings. So I'm just calling this standard lead capture. You can see over on the site that I've made several of them. It's a good idea to name them wherever they're getting posted so that you can just kind of keep an eye on when leads come in and just see where you're getting most of your business. The next thing is notifications. And so we can either say none, email, text, or both. I like to do both because maybe your email inbox gets swamped. But generally, most people have their phone on them or they check it during the day. The auto response means that you don't have to check it all the time. You can have an email auto response that's sent out right away as soon as anybody contacts you so that they're getting acknowledged even if you don't actually have time to talk to them right at that moment. The next thing is calendar. So you can have as many calendars as you'd like in your 17 Hats account. You can create them and you can sync as many as you'd like. So maybe you have assistants or second shooters that work with you and you want to assign them to a particular calendar. That's how that goes. Life cycles. Life cycles are one of those features that we won't spend too much time on today. They're wonderful. They're a great way of keeping an eye on your project visually and kind of seeing where you are with all of your clients. They're completely customizable, and they're also optional. Life cycles will not affect how you use the software. They're just kind of a nice, neat little tool. So I'm going to do the new life cycle. And then after submitting, this is telling us what happens after the client, after they've submitted their form. Do nothing. Maybe if on your Facebook page you want to redirect to your website, or we'll just display a message that says, you're all done. Keep an eye out. The last are tags, and this is kind of how you can categorize your clients so you can keep track of them. So, for example, this is our standard lead capture form. I'm just going to say these are standard 2016, and that's the tag. So now when I want to find any of my lead capture forms that came from wherever I've posted this for the year 2016, I'll know where they are, and I can go find them. The next thing is, these are all the lead form questions. Now, this works very, very similarly to how the questionnaires that we saw work. The difference is that lead capture form it's the first step in automating most of your work with your clients, because what happens when they type that information into the contact form It comes straight to your 17 Hats account, and it gets saved automatically. So you're never retyping their name. You're never accidentally getting their email address wrong or their date mixed up. You don't have to transfer any of that information. And you can make these as long as you like. It's a good idea to keep them, kind of brief so that people do fill them out. But I'm going to say, yes, I want to know my name, my email address, my phone number, my date, my location. I don't really need this. Is it sponsored? So I'm just going to delete that. And that's how that looks. Oops. And then it refreshed. Have fun. Come on. Okay. And then, maybe we want to add something a little bit different and just say, will I need to fly somewhere to get there? Let's say, short answer. Oh, that's it. There we go. Actually, let's not do short answer. Let's do a yes or no. That makes more sense. And Map 2 is telling us where all of this information is going to get saved. So this is going back to those tokens that we talked about earlier. That information, you don't have to type that in. You may add more information in later as you're working with that client more, but if you're mapping where the information goes, you don't have to worry about it. The tokens will just pull it directly. So do we need to fly there? I don't think we need to worry about this. I'm going to say notes just so that we can keep track of places that we do need to fly. I'm going to click make that required. Click add. We should have stopped doing that. Okay, great. And now this is kind of, we're going to reorder this as well. We'll click that. And now I'm all done. I actually want to go back to those. I shouldn't have clicked out of that. And I'm going to install this on our Facebook page. So this is how easy it is. All you need to do if you want to put this onto your Facebook business page is just be logged into Facebook on the next tab. And right over here, oh wait, it's not showing this, Linda. It's possibly you may not be seeing this because I'm seeing a shadow over this pop-up window. So I'm going to cancel that. And it should. This is that window. All right, it's a separate pop-up window, and I'm sorry you can't see it. It seems to be the webinar software won't let you see it. But all we're going to do is add it onto, it's going to pull up a pop-up window that says, please select the Facebook page you want to add. So if you're logged into your personal account, you'll be able to select from a drop-down if you have like a business tab. So I'm going to add that there. And it'll get a little notification right here. And now if we go, and I'm just going to go check out, this is where I posted it. And let's see. Oh, and here it is, right over here. This is what it looks like. So you can really customize this to have, it doesn't need to say contact. You can say like, reach out to us or contact Bob or Sally or whoever. But this is what it looks like. And so it's all streamlined. It's all the same format so that it's the most readable possible format for any surface. So if they're on an iPad, iPhone, they'll be able to see it. So I'm going to just type myself in as a new lead. And say, sorry that it's a little quiet while I type these answers in. And this is happening end of May. You need to go to London. How did you hear about it? I heard about you through Mackenzie. And no, not one. We'll click submit. And, went down. So here's a little message. You're all done. Keep an eye out. So now if we go back to our dashboard, you'll see right down here, this is where our leads pop up. And we see Jessica from 17 Hats came from Standard Lead Capture, right at the date and time. And now here I am. So that lead capture form just funneled all of my information right over here. I did not have to retype it. I didn't have to resave it. And if I want to see everything I typed, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the lead capture form. So I have all of our answers. So when you're getting, and the other thing is that this is what the life cycle looks like. So these doesn't have to be 5 stages. It can be more than 5 stages. It can be as few as 2, and you can customize those to your business practices. But when you have a new lead, this is kind of where we can look at me, evaluate what I've told you, and apply what's called a workflow. Now, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, so I'm going to show you what a workflow is first. And we're going to go to our template. and we're going to, so you can see how many I've made, which is quite a few. I'm just going to show you, this is what a wedding, we have a lot of wedding photographers at U17 at, so this is kind of just an idea of what it can look like. We kind of have it broken up into stages of where we are with the project. Each step is broken out. And really the hard work of making a workflow is actually sitting down and thinking about your process of booking your client as a, step-by-step process. And of course, they're not, one process isn't going to work for all of your clients. So that's why you can take as many as you'd like, and you can apply as many as you'd like to any given project. I'm going to go back, and we're going to create a new one from scratch. And we're going to call this ViewFind. I'm going to click my calendar. I'm going to say my default. And I'm going to click Save. Now, when we create a workflow, this is what it looks like. It's completely empty. We do not have suggestions because we don't want to suggest that you use a workflow in any particular way. We want the workflow to mold to fit your work process. So right over here, this is how we start it. Now, when you think about your own personal workflow, your work process, you're going to put those things into like a list, like a 1 through 10, 1 through 50, 1 through 5, whatever speaks to you. And for each of those steps, we'll identify if those are a to-do, an action, or a pause. The to-do is really any work that you need to get done. So, the session itself, flying out to the location, doing any retouching, putting together any kind of print. Any work that you're going to do is going to be a to-do. And then an action is anything we can automate for you. So now that we've gone through all of our templates and we've created enough to work with, we can automate all of those templates to go out at the right time, without even having to do it. The last thing is a pause. And the pause is really just a timed gap in between steps in your workflow. So say, for example, you book a client and the shoot's not for a few more months. Maybe you don't have to reach out to them until a month prior. So maybe you set up a pause that says, once it ends, 30 days prior to the project date, it can send out anything you want or move on to the next step in the workflow. It's really just a tool for timing your workflow so it's never getting out ahead of you. So I'm going to start, and I do not mean to insult any of your businesses, but I'm going to make up a work process with a lead. And I'm going to say, well, the first time when I get my new lead, the first thing I do is I want to set up a phone call with them. So I'm going to say set up a phone call. And part of that phone call is seeing if the client is a good fit. And this is due 0 days after activating this workflow. So this is how we time our steps. And when we're done, this is telling us, once we've said that this to-do has been finished, what do we want to happen next? Maybe the next thing is we want to create a project note because we want to remember everything we talked about. Let's save there. So now, after that's done, you are going to assume I'm a great fit. You definitely who you want. So we'll create an action, and we're going to send out that quote that we created earlier. And we're going to find the template. It's called ViewFind. There it is. And this is the email that quote comes in. You can personalize those. We also have defaults saved in 17 apps. And this is the prompt. So this is telling us either we have to set up a step where we approve the quote before it goes out, or we can send it out automatically. Now, this is very much dependent on your comfort level and whatever the task is. If you want to keep your eyes on every quote and every contract that goes out, set up a step for approval. If it's something that's generic, everybody gets it, send it automatically. So I'm going to send it automatically for now, just to show you the example. And so we're going to say it's 0 days after all the previous items are complete. So this option shows up in the second step. And this is basically, a chain reaction. So if you want one thing to depend on the other, that's how we can do that. We can also always time steps to just be based on the project. So I'm going to click that. And it's complete when they've accepted it. Save. Now, if you remember from that quote template, that quote has both the contract and the invoice. So we don't have to send either of those. But if we wanted to, all we would do is send an action item, send a questionnaire, send a contract, send an invoice. All of those things can be sent out automatically or, with your approval. It's really just about creating the template. So now that we've got our quote, we've got our contract signed, the next thing we do is we want to send a questionnaire. So I'm going to do the ViewFind questionnaire. And that's the email. You've received a questionnaire. Prompt, I'm going to send this automatically 0 days after the previous items are complete, and it is complete when it's answered. Click Save there. And then the last thing I want to show you is how to use a pause. So we've gone through with this client. We know she's a great fit. She signed her contract. We're getting all of her extra information. So now we don't really need to do anything until probably about a week prior to the shoot date. So I'm going to say 1 week prior. And we're going to make this due 7 days before the project date. So this is how you can time those things. And the project date can be your shoot date. It can be whatever you want, whatever makes the most sense. It's just kind of how you base the time. When done, I'm going to send an email. This tells me that once this pause is done, which is done 7 days before the project date, it's going to send them an email. And maybe say the next email is, I feel like we have a finalizing details and walkthrough. Perfect. So this is a template that maybe you send out, you want to make sure that you know exactly where you're going and that they're still available at the time you agreed. Whatever it is, you can send that email out behind your back without having to remember that it's a week before the shoot, without, missing the deadline, sending it maybe too late. Makes it really, really easy. And we're not going to approve before sending because we don't want to have to think about it, right? Now, if we did want to approve before sending, we would just get a notification on your dashboard. So it's still easy to send it out, but might as well just do it automatically. And now I'm going to click Save. So this is a 4-step workflow. You can have these as simple or as complex as you want. Again, it's all about your work process. And if this is something that's interesting to you but seems maybe overwhelming or confusing, I might just be a fast talker. Definitely look into the 17 Hats training because we'll go through this with a fine-tooth comb with your own business. Now, I'm going to go back to the overview page, and I'm going to go back to me as a lead. And great, so now I see I check me out, and I go, oh, okay, this is the kind of lady that's a ViewFind client. I'm going to find that workflow. And the base date right over here is basically just the project date, just defaults to whatever the project date is. And I'm going to click Activate. Now this just redirected us straight back to the workflow page so that, we didn't have to re-click that. And the first step is I got to set up a phone call. I have their phone number because they put it into the lead capture form. And we'll pretend this is our phone call. And we're chatting, and I'm having a great time just talking to myself. Mackenzie, you're lovely next to me, but I've just been talking the whole time. And I'm a great fit. So I'm going to say, yes, we're done. Yes to me being a good fit. And up comes, there we go. Up comes the project now. Didn't have to click that. Just prompts itself. So I'm going to say, talks a lot, seems fun. And that's my note, right? So I'm going to click Save. Now, those notes are just for you. It's just going to get stuck to the project page. So if you need to remember that someone's favorite color is blue or that they want a particular shot, that's an easy way of doing it. So now this is already sent out, and we see right here because it says auto, but we can always review everything we do. So I'm going to take a look at it. And great. So this is what the quote looks like to me in my project page. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Come on. We're at the mercy of our Wi-Fi, so I apologize for the delay. There we go. Now, this is what it looks like to the client. For me as your lead, I just received an email that says, hey, you've received a quote. There's a little button that says check out quote, and here it is. So you can see up here we have quote, contract, and invoice. And right over here we have print. So if your client wants to save anything, just so that they have it for the record, they can always save it as a PDF or print it out. Now, I'm looking at everything I'm seeing here. Travel fee. $200, can't do anything about that. Ooh, but I can choose between these two packages. And for some reason, the small package is cheaper than the full planning package, so I'm going to go full planning package. And, if I need an additional hour of service, I might as well just do 2 additional hours of service. If they're suggesting it, they know best. So I'm going to accept. And this will tell you when we accepted it. Now, you see that these are kind of just blank lines right down here, and that's only because I haven't added in any notes or payment schedule to this invoice, but you can always put in more, more information if you want your clients to send you a check instead of paying online. If you want to put that information in there, you can always just do it in the template. So I'm going to click View Contract. And now remember, when we made that contract, Jessica 17 Hats. Now, we never put in my company name, right? So it didn't pull that information. So that's kind of one thing you want to keep an eye out with your best business practices is just to make sure that any kind of information you want to automatically pull, just want to check that client, make sure it's all there. And I'm going to try and sign this contract without reading it. I'm just going to say, oh, I can't. Oh, no, now I have to agree to give you all my money. Well, I guess I do. So, perfect. And now we see when I signed that, we see that I still need to sign this, countersign it. But I'm just going to move right on to my invoice. I see everything I need. This is my information, my address of London. And this is all the information, all of the items that I've purchased. Now, if you wanted to set up online payment options, there would just be another button right up here that says Pay Invoice. But you also do not have to do it that way. But now we've gone through this whole thing. So now we're going through this, and we can see of the documents that we worked on together. Remember, this is just me, and I turned green. You might have noticed I was orange earlier. I've automatically become a client because I signed a contract and accepted a quote. So you don't have to go back and recategorize me. You can always just, that's just the setting that will automatically happen. And we can check out what's coming up in our workflow. But really, I see I've got to sign this. So let's go check this out. And, okay, great. She signed it. Let's countersign. And great. Now we're done. And we can kind of see this timestamp trail right over here so we can see what the progress was and how long it took to sign. Off the print, preview in another page. And great, now we're done. Let's go back to me. Oh, wait, I don't want to do that. I want to go to contacts. Oops. Right over here. Perfect. Okay, great. So now we see our contract's been signed. Still waiting for me to have the invoice. But now the questionnaire got sent out today. Let's check that out. And this has already been sent out to me. We can see right over here that when it got sent out. If I haven't, checked it in a week, you may want to send me a reminder and say, hey, come on, I need your answers. But I'm just going to go to the preview page. And this is what it looks like to me. So again, same formatting. It's all very clear, very, formatted so it's easy to read. And my shoot there, I'm going to go back to May 28th. I want you to travel, and the location is the answers. Now, I can either submit or I can save. So maybe I'm not done with this, or I'm not sure where the location is. I'm just going to say TBD. And I'm going to save the answers. And then maybe I go back and I change my mind and I say, I'm going to change it back to the North Pole, because I'm pretty sure that's where I want to go. And now I'm going to submit answers. And now it's been submitted. Fantastic. And I can always print this, save it as a PDF, whatever makes the most sense. So if they want to keep a record of their questionnaire, they can. But it's also just coming back into our project page. And right down here, so you see this is where our notes, when we have that project notes right down here, all of the emails that we've gone through together. As you work more with your clients, you'll see everything that you do, and there'll be way more, more to see. But it's kind of a great way of just keeping track of everything you're doing with this client. All of your information is all in one place. If you have another person that's working with you on that shoot, you can add them as a related contact. And this means that they can be copied on any of the documents that you send out to your primary contact. So that way, if you want several signatures on your contract, this is how we can do it. So the next thing I want to show you, actually, let me check my guide, make sure I'm staying on track. Great. Okay, so we want to talk about integration. Just go into bookkeeping. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll do an overview of the bookkeeping again on June 15th. We'll do more in depth of that and kind of some better practices, but that will leave you guys a few minutes for questions, and then we can always get you signed up for 1-on-5 and 1-on-1 training if you need.
Perfect. Okay, great. So this is what the bookkeeping tool looks like. If you use QuickBooks, this probably looks pretty familiar, and it's because it is Intuit software, and it's fully integrated with QuickBooks and QuickBooks Online. So if you're pulling over your transactions, you'll see we can categorize it. If you don't use QuickBooks, it's very, very easy to use our bookkeeping tool, because our bookkeeping tool sets up all the, you can set up custom categories, but you don't have to do as much setup as required as when you just set up a QuickBooks account. So this is all kind of ready to go. You can connect as many banks as you'd like. You can, check and you can sort it so that you can see how much service income you've had. You can also just check and see your incomes or expenses. The other thing you can do are run reports. First is profit and loss, sales tax, upcoming receivables, and age receivables. So anything that, is coming up into your bank account and anything that's past due. A lot of our users are actually accountants who want their clients to use us because it makes their life really, really easy at tax time. So definitely wonderful bookkeeping reports that will organize your life. And then we can always, bring in more banks. We can manage transactions, and we can always manually add income or expense. So maybe you get cash payments or anything you want to do right over here. It's a very, very simple tool to use. One other thing that I forgot to mention is the timer, which is right up here. Now, for photographers, you probably do a retouching. Maybe you do some consultation. Maybe you do some walkthroughs. Anything that you want to bill for, by time, you can just start a timer. You apply the project. So I'm going to say, let's just do maybe project with me and my consulting, and I'm going to say it's billable, and I'm just going to start it. And then you can see right up here in this top corner that this is kind of just going. So, say I'm retouching some photos, I go and I start this timer, go about my business, and then when I'm done, I'll come back, check and see how long it took, and then I can automatically generate an invoice to send to that client. And a few other things just kind of worth checking out. Project calendar. So this is what this is what your calendar can look like, all color-coded. This is my actual calendar, so just ignore how busy that is. But you can, if you have second shooters or assistants or anything that you want to kind of, organize by calendar, you can add as many as you want right over here. The next thing are to-dos. This is exactly what it sounds like. So this doesn't have to be associated with any particular client or project. Just anything that you want to get done, you can create a custom to-do list. You can create to-do lists for anybody who, is working with you. And one thing to mention is that our development team is working toward a true multi-user platform for later this year. Until then, you can have as many people logged into your account at one time as possible, as you like. So if you have other people who are working with you, until we have that multi-user functionality, you can always just create task lists specific to them, calendars specific to them. So you kind of just a nice little workaround until that feature is live. And then is there anything and then I do want to let's go to our invoice options, and this is where we can set up our payments. So right over here we can set our currency if you're working internationally. And we can, this is where we set our invoice reminders. So you don't have to remember to follow up on an invoice. They will just get emailed until it is paid. And you can edit how often they get emailed. And then down here are our payment options. So you see Stripe, PayPal, and Authorize.net. As we add more payment providers that we'll work with, they'll just pop up right in this page. And so far, all of these have been great. PayPal takes a few days to get into your account, but the other ones a little bit quicker. And the last thing I want to show you, or the last thing I see on the list, is integrations. So if you're currently working with ShootProof or QuickBooks, you can connect directly to both of those services. Just kind of make it as easy as possible for you to get everything in one place and manage all of your clients and invoices at the same time. Now, is there anything I've missed, do you think?
I think you covered the basics.
Yeah, fantastic.
I guess now, we can open up the forum. Andrea, if you want to read any questions that people have that are similar, we can explain that, and then we can always send you additional links to go more in depth with them until the next webinar in June.
Yeah, that was really great. Thank you, guys. So I've received a couple of questions, and again, this is the time if you guys are here and you want to ask a question, put it in the chat. So one question, we have gotten a question just about pricing, how much you guys charge for the service, and if you could repeat again that discount code for attendees of this webinar.
Yes, of course. So the discount code is ViewFind, all capital letters, no spaces. And Andrea, if you want to just type that in the chat, that would be great. You guys can use that. It's the 15% off, so you can go ahead and sign up for a 15-day free trial. And then if you realize that you love it, which hopefully you will, you can just put that in and you'll get 15% off the pricing. And what's great about our pricing is there's 3 different options, but they're all locked in. So we've got a monthly rate, a yearly rate, and a bi-yearly rate. Now, if you pay per month, it's the least good deal, but per month it's $39.
And if you want to do a year plan, it's $299. And if you want to do a 2-year plan, it's $399. Now, that 15% discount, when you apply that, that will, whatever price you pay, whatever price you sign up with, that's your price for life. So even if, our yearly or bi-yearly plans become more expensive later on down the line, that won't affect you. You'll get to keep the price that you started with.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay, another question. Sorry, let me scroll back here. Another question was just about bookkeeping, how 17 Hats, basically how 17 Hats would help you organize for filing your taxes.
So it kind of depends on your business. Now, there's lots of, a lot of businesses, maybe they do need like the full range of the accounting capabilities of QuickBooks. And that's completely, that's wonderful. If your business is big enough to need that, that's fantastic. But most of our users are, kind of people in business for themselves, doing mostly, income and expense. It's not, it's generally pretty straightforward transactions. So I'm going to go back to bookkeeping, so I'm going to show you. So when you're doing all of your invoicing, accepting your payments, when you're doing as much as possible through 17 Hats, those transactions will just come into your bookkeeping tool. Now, this is pulling, from my bank account, from credit card account, but as those invoices get paid online or you apply those payments, it's all in one place. Now, come tax time, you run a report for your profit and loss. Ignore that this is zeros because I never collect on my invoices. But it's just a very clear, easy report. It has everything organized in the way that accountants, typically ask for. It's just really clear, very easy reports. And the more that you're working in the system, the more information we have to make it a really complete picture.
Thank you so much. That's really, really awesome. And again, we'll be posting some links to some additional resources that Mackenzie and her team have shared with us when we post this recording on our blog on Medium. So if there aren't any other questions right now, I think we can close things out. Just another reminder, our next webinar, the second in this 3-part series, will be on June 15th, and we'll post an event on Facebook and email that out. And again, that 15% off discount code is ViewFind in all caps. So thank you all for joining us.
Here's where you add it, just a reminder in case anybody forgets. So when you get here, when you sign up, right down here, right where your basic profile is, it's going to be down here with add referral code. And that's all you got to do.
Great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys for your time. And yeah, definitely, if you guys have any additional questions after, feel free to email the support team or me directly. If Andrea, you want to provide that information, and then we can get you set up with individual trainings. And also feel free to use any of our social media forums. We have a great user base that really likes to, help build that community, as I know ViewFind does as well. So, we look forward to hopefully working with some of you. And thank you so much for taking your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.